Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It is January 18th and a lot of clouds around today. Warmer than yesterday though. Definitely, you can definitely feel the warmer temperatures tonight. Definitely a little ice here on the lake here at Argyle Lake. Finally getting to see a little bit of ice. And maybe we're going to get some snow on top of that ice tomorrow. Still a lot of open water though there. And you can see the sky kind of a milky overcast with all that cirrostratus around and a little bit of ice there on the sides there growing on the plants. That's kind of interesting. But anyway, let's go to the radar here. And you see a little bit of really light snow. This storm is not very impressive looking at all. There's an area of snow over Kentucky here, but it really does not look all that impressive on here at least. It's a very weak, flat system. Looking at our weather map here, you can see that. But behind it, it will be some absolutely frigid air that comes in behind it. Looking at our satellite, you can see all the clouds streaming in. We'll go over our statistics for the day, and we'll get that out of the way first. Our highs and lows at islip. So islip, we had a high of 31, which is 8 degrees below normal. The low of 20, which is 4 degrees below normal. And that puts us about 5 degrees below normal for the day. Central Park was about 5 degrees below normal as well. Looks like they made it up to 33, so they actually did make it above freezing over there. 1 degree above freezing, not very much, for sure. Looking at our national view, you can see, though, a lot of winter weather advisories, wind chill advisories, freezing spray advisories on the lakes. We got freeze watches still in the south, as they're still dealing with some cold air. And you can see in our area, we have a winter weather advisory for Long Island. And nothing north of the city, Ed. For some reason, they issued a winter storm warning for New Jersey, Central Jersey, Ocean County, Monmouth County. That Philadelphia, I don't think that's necessary. I think that's definitely going way over the top. I don't know why they did that, but I guess maybe because it hasn't snowed in so long, maybe. I don't know. But that area got snow, so I don't understand what they're doing. The temperatures are around 32 degrees in Farmingdale, 30 degrees at Islip. So everyone's around 30 degrees. Definitely a lot warmer tonight than it was last night for sure. 30 degrees. We have a west wind at 3 miles an hour at Islip. So we'll go and take a look at what the day was like at Islip. You'll see again we had generally temperatures just got up to 30. The clouds kind of came in pretty quick. You see the winds kind of shifted to a little light wind. Went a little northwest, then southwest. And we just have a west wind. So let's look at our highs and lows on the map. First with the highs. See highs generally low 30s across Long Island. Made it to the mid 30s though in New Jersey. Lows generally around 20 degrees. Guess we didn't make it into the teens and much on Long Island. Even West Hampton 19. But take a look at Jersey. There was a little more radiational cooling there. Got down to 10 at Miller Air Park, 8 at Coyle Field. So yeah, they got some single digits there. So they did get into some of the radiational cooling, but there was just a little too much wind, I think. So you can see winter weather advisory in effect for Long Island and a winter storm warning for New Jersey. And again, southern part of New Jersey, generally south of Raritan. I don't see why that's necessary. We're going to look at the models and you'll see why the storm itself is not very impressive as it is. So let's go to the models now and we'll look at our storm here. And you'll see here as we move into tomorrow. It's a very weak storm. You can see how far south it is. Very far south. Very far to the south. So it's mainly going to be a fairly light snow event for us. An inch or two, I think, is going to do it, and that's just about going to be it. Again, I don't know. I'll draw up a map at the end, but I don't see the need for it. What's going to be more notable is the wind chills and the bitter cold that follow the storm for the weekend. And that big high will give us at least a nice stretch of dry weather after we're done with this storm. So that's the GFS. Let's go to the HRRR now. And now that we have the storm in line with almost all the short-range models, here we go. So light snow gets going, I guess, around sunrise tomorrow. And you can see it's fairly light. It is a little bit heavier toward the south, so I tend to think there'll be higher amounts in Jersey versus Long Island and north of the city. But I don't see it being more than 3 inches, or maybe 4 inches in some isolated areas. Because it's just not a lot. It's a very weak system, and it's very suppressed, as you see. We look at the HRRR's total snowfall, you'll see, again, it has a 3 over Toms River. All right, so that's as high as I think it's going to get. And Long Island barely gets anything. We may get even less than an inch, according to the HRRR, all right? And that's because if we take a look at the total liquid equivalent, you see it's not very much over Long Island at all. Less than a quarter inch. The heavier amounts are over New Jersey. So that's where you'll see your 0.3 and maybe some 0.4 amounts, which would translate. Now, you got to remember, because of the fluff factor, it might wind up being a little fluffier than that. But the air isn't that super cold yet, so I just don't see it being more than 3 or maybe even some isolated 4-inch amounts. Winter storm warnings are only issued when there's forecast for over 6 inches, and I don't think that's going to be happening in New Jersey at all. All right, so that's the HRRR. We'll look at the dew points and wind flow on the HRRR here to show you. So we've got the light northerly winds tomorrow. They're going to come easterly, which may indeed be a problem for some areas. Perhaps there could be some mixing with rain in extreme coastal New Jersey. But everybody else should stay all snow. The east winds turning to the northeast. And then here we go as we get into tomorrow night, Friday night, especially after midnight. That's when you start feeling that really bitterly cold Arctic air again. Getting to Saturday, we've got those winds whipping out of the northwest there. And you can see that really dry air, dew points at 0, in the single digits, 0, or maybe even below 0 dew points. That shows you that this is indeed Arctic air that's going to come in behind it. Our air temperatures for tomorrow, here are our air temperatures, and you'll see again, even has some of the areas, the Jersey Shore going above freezing. So yeah, the precipitation might be heavier there, but it might actually change to rain with that easterly wind. So that's why I just don't see anyone getting more than 3 inches from this system. All right, and you can see tomorrow night, the temperatures do start dropping off at 7, 8 o'clock. We'll go into the 20s, and then teens by Saturday morning, low teens. And then Saturday, I don't think we make it out of the teens, right? I think we make it in the upper teens, maybe like 18 degrees for a high on Saturday. It's going to be absolutely frigid behind this system. So that's what it looks like on the HRRR. We're going to go back to the precipitation here and look at the NAM 3. The NAM is the heavier model, so we'll look at this. All right, you can see, again, Long Island's generally in the lighter stuff, and you'll see it's going to be during the day tomorrow. NAM actually is a little slower in getting it started. But it's generally going to be falling during the day tomorrow, and then by afternoon it starts tapering off, late afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. It should start tapering off, though, south of it could linger a little more towards 7 o'clock for southern New Jersey. And you can see it's just a very weak low-pressure system. You can see that. And then for Saturday, we'll have, again, some instability. We might even have some flurries or virga around on Saturday for sure, and some definitely lake effect machines definitely going to be going. Let's look at the total snowfall accumulation on the NAM. So this is the NAM. This is the 0Z NAM that we have. And you can see even the NAM, it's only going, wait a minute, what's going on? Stop it. I didn't hit play. I hate that feature. But here we go, up to Saturday. You see that even the NAM is not really putting down much more than maybe 3 inches. And that's it. All right, so, and for us, maybe even less than an inch. So this storm is not going to, this storm may be less than the last one we had. All right, it may be more for Jersey, south of the Raritan, but it's going to be less than the last storm was. The storm is going to be very minimal impact. It can be very light snow, I think, from this system. Right, even the NAM, which is a model that favors a wet, snowier scenario, is barely putting anything out here. All right, which kind of tells you something. All right, let's go to the NAM 12 and let's go look at the FGen, which is the other way we can take a look at it. And you can see there's very, very little energy here. There's one little area that goes over Ocean County, Atlantic and maybe Southern Ocean, but that's it. There's just not a lot here with this storm, and it's going to be a very weak storm, and I think a lot of people are making way too big a deal about nothing, personally. I don't think it's going to be much of anything. A few inches at most. I think the few inches is going to go to Ocean County for us on Long Island. I don't even think, I think we're going to be lucky if we see another inch of snow from this thing. It's going to be a very, very weak system. My more concern has to do with the really bad wind chills that are going to come behind the storm, and the Arctic air that's going to come in behind it. So let's go to the GFS next, and we're going to go look at the dew points and wind flow again. So you can see that dew point and wind flow. Here we go, and that cold, really cold air comes in Saturday, and it's really going to just be. You can see the winds there. The winds aren't going to be damaging winds, but it's going to be windy, and that's going to make the wind chill that much worse. And Sunday, we're still in it with the northwest flow, and then Monday, we finally start seeing it relent a little bit. The winds go from northwest to westerly on Monday. Temperatures, I don't think we make it out of the teens on Saturday. I really don't. And at night, Saturday night, we're going to probably go into the single digits. Probably, I don't know, this model doesn't to show it, but I would think that we will. Though the wind will keep us from radiationally cooling. And then for Sunday, we rebound into the mid-20s, all right, for highs. And then for Monday, that's when we'll probably struggle to like 33 or 35 degrees on Monday for a high, all right. So, like I said, I'm not going to make a big deal out of this storm. I don't think it's going to be that bad, personally, right? You can see it's impressive. It doesn't really have much of a good signature even on the radar. So let's go take a look at the skies. Obviously, this is the GFS showing maybe a little more sunshine over Jersey in the morning. I think we have a lot of clouds and Virgo, maybe even an isolated snow shower Saturday afternoon. And then Sunday, we should have clearer skies, mostly sunny skies. You're going to see a lot of clouds over the ocean as this really bitterly cold air goes over that warm 47 or 48 degree water. Could even be some nasty ocean effect squalls way out to sea, or even on the Cape perhaps. And then as we get into Monday, we'll have sunshine and then maybe some increasing high cloudiness late when we get ahead of the next system there. But this high is going to give us at least 3 days with some dry weather at least. So let's go to the RGM on the skies here. So our next model to use here is the 18Z. So here is the 18Z RGM. Obviously not seeing the sun tomorrow. Saturday, I think we'll have a lot of the clouds around popping up from time to time. But there will be sunshine mixing with those clouds, but it's going to be that sunshine isn't going to do much to get those temperatures warmed up. There's going to be a lot of wind chill. It's going to feel pretty chilly. And then Sunday, I think, is a better bet for a mostly sunny day. So beyond this storm, let's go beyond this storm here. I hurt my shoulder again, by the way, so yeah, I don't know. I can't carry laundry, I guess. I try to carry it a different way, and I hurt my shoulder, so I'm in pain again. Going beyond this, and I'll go to the 12Z run of the GFS here. Going beyond this, our high moves all short, and then we start dealing with I say enjoy the dry weather because we're going to start dealing with messy, unsettled weather again as we get toward Wednesday with sucky weather. Chances for rain on Wednesday, chances for rain Thursday, maybe on Friday. We may be dealing with stall front syndrome. This is showing a possible event possible here. 18Z probably doesn't have it. The 18Z is a little different. We're going to have to watch that high. We're going to have to deal with some stall front syndrome, and that's going to bring us a really crappy week next week. Could be a light mixed event there, and then here comes another one for Sunday. So you get the idea of what we're dealing with here next week. We're going to be dealing with another parade of weaker rainstorms. It won't be as bad, but we're still going to be... This is the 12Z run here, all right? However, the 12Z looks a little better than the 18Z as far as maybe bringing some, more colder, drier, not like what we're going to see this weekend, but at least it'll cool it and bring in cooler and drier. Let's just look at the European, and I'm sure the European is going to have the same kind of. This is the European, by the way. And we will look at windy.com as well, what it thinks with the snow. You can see next week is going to get unsettled. So as we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, here comes the parade of rain again, and who knows, maybe another soaker for the last weekend of January. Possible. At least that's what the European thinks. So, that we've gone through all that. Let's go to windy.com. Yeah, we'll take a look at what the Euro is doing for snowfall. All right, so this is the European, and you can see, just an inch on Long Island. If you go into Ocean County, you'll have like 2.2 inches. The storm is not very impressive. All the models have scaled this back. I don't know why. The Weather Service really needs to drop that winter storm warning because I don't know why they're doing that. Just because they feel like issuing a winter storm warning, they haven't issued one in a while, so Mount Holly feels like issuing one. I mean, that's not a reason to issue one. This is not going to be a big storm. This is going to be an advisory level storm at the worst. And they're making a big deal out of it. And it's not good to do that because then you create false alarms. I'm more concerned about the wind chills. So when we get into Saturday here, 8 in the morning on Saturday, if we go to wind gusts, some of these wind gusts here, 25 miles an hour. Okay, it's not terrible, I guess. 26 miles an hour. I think they might get a little stronger toward the afternoon. 30 miles an hour. I'm going to couple that with these temperatures are too warm. All right, these temperatures are going to be much colder than that. I think we're going to have upper teens to deal with. It's going to feel absolutely frigid with these winds. All right, it's going to feel like it's 0 or below, and that wind chill is going to be more of a concern, I think, than the snow. So it's going to be a little unpleasant to be outside on Saturday with that wind chill. Sunday we'll have less of the wind, a little bit less of it. We're still going to have it though, so that's something that we'll have to be mindful of more than that. But the storm isn't going to be a big deal. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I don't think it's something to make a big deal out of. It's going to be a couple of inches for Jersey, Ocean County. We're going to see just an inch if we're lucky here on Long Island. So, it'll be like the last storm or even less than the last storm. So that's going to wrap up this Long Island weather update. Have a good night.